But let's get into some things. Spotify released some data, right? And it said they basically found that globally hip hop streaming numbers have declined. Like its streaming numbers globally are declining. And it's really about, I'm gonna look for some of the data points that they said. And it's really about the new music that's being put out, because there's 100,000 songs put out all the time. No one's really listening to new hip hop music. Obviously, legacy artists and huge artists, there's nothing like, they're not talking about Kendrick Lamar. They're not talking about Tyler the Creator. They're talking about every Lil that exists. All the niggas making songs like each other. They're saying that the streams are globally going down, and these mainstream artists who, like a Young Thug album, nobody listening to that. Travis Scott album, in reference to his old stuff, is not getting the same type of listenership.
Yeah, this is saying as of September 2025, there's only 4 hip hop songs on the global Spotify chart, and none of those songs were from 2025.
Exactly.
So none of y'all in 2025 are making charting records at all.
And I like to blame 2 things. I like to blame quality of music, which would be hip hop fatigue. How I trap fatigue, first trap fatigue, and then hip hop fatigue. And then I would also like to blame the industry at large, as always. So one is the artist and the audience. They're the problem with the whole hip hop fatigue.
This is saying that the decline, it's a specific drop in the global Spotify chart.
Yeah.
So hip hop remains the dominant genre in America and in the UK.
Yes, 100%, because there's so much of it. But we're talking about really being the top genre, like for real. So do people listen to hip hop? Of course. This hip hop is podcasting before podcasting. I always say that, in the sense that once you get into an artist, everyone has a favorite rapper, dog. Like everyone, you'd be like, oh, who's your favorite rapper? It's like, oh, I don't really listen to hip hop. I love Tupac. I love Eminem. I love Kendrick Lamar. Like, someone loves some rapper a lot, and they like their whole catalog, their discography, and they're checking for them all the time. So you're going to be influenced by this culture. That's without a doubt, because it's a culture, not just a music. The music, though, that is being produced and put out there is not streaming or impacting as it once was. That's a fact. And that's the issue that's happening, that I'm saying that the cause of that is the quality of the music, because we went through that the hair metal bullshit for the last 10 years, the hair metal version of hip hop. And then also how the industry works, where they were just pushing these hair metal shits. It's like, let's get the song off. Let's get these streams. Let's put it up. They were pushing stream these songs, and then all the songs start sounding the same. And I think that just happens when you start doing the same thing over again, and the industry makes you make these cookie cutter type of situations. That happens to every genre. It's just that hip hop is so malleable that some things we might not some things in the mainstream might not be bubbling and get mainstream love, but it's still becoming new things. There's so many new artists making new sounds and bringing the culture forward still. But yeah, the shit went bad for mainstream hip hop. It's gone real bad. Niggas is not getting streams at all.
Is Spotify the proper ones to be making a statement like on the decline of anything, with all of the shenanigans they've been having the last few weeks with AI and the removal of 75 million AI songs?
Was it 75 million?
75 million, and they say there's no exact number on how many songs total are sitting on Spotify. The approximate is between 100 and 120 million, and they just got rid of 75 million.
That's wild.
So you kind of me personally, this is my take. My take on it is that you kind of have to be careful about letting them measure it, because they're not taking into consideration things that they're not that are changing. For instance, artists that are going direct to consumer. Like, what are those numbers for an artist selling their project directly from their website, or artists that are, going through an even, or like, where's the decline happening and where's the increase happening? Because I feel like that's going to give a full conversation. But if they got 75 million questionable songs that got removed out of their 120 million total, something's a little bit fishy about that, about any stats that they bring to the forefront about the current state of anything.
Green, we're talking about like a 2 to 3 to 4% drop, right? Which is probably significant to Lucian Grange, but culturally, it's not some gigantic 20 or 30 or 50% drop off. We cannot say some other genre has overtaken hip hop. You're making the point that we should really look at this as the current batch of rappers not bringing the heat, but there is still a deep love for hip hop in general. The previous generation is still freaking loved and hot, and all those.
The culture is not in decline.
Yeah.
The new music in the mainstream industry is in decline. And he brought up a good point. Independent is rising. People are selling cassette tapes are on a boom right now. I looked at the stats on cassette tapes. I was like, what are you talking about? And it's beautiful. And then I saw these two other artists on Instagram who they were selling this digital album where you plug it into your phone and you could just get the wave files. Like, it's just a hard drive. It's just a USB hard drive. But people were into it. I cared about the comments. I'm talking about 100,000 likes, 10,000 like comments of people saying, yeah, man, fuck Spotify. Let's support real artists and shit like that. I don't know how many of them niggas bought that shit, because niggas be just performing on the internet. But the mode that people are on is like, yeah, I want to support the artist. They want that Nipsey Hussle marathon attitude, that La Russell type attitude of we're in the streets and supporting this artist and their creation. And I know Curtis is about that life, and we all love that. So that's taking up. It's not taking up enough of the pie, because the mainstream, everybody's fucking lazy. And that's my issue, is that when people are lazy, they're just going to take what's fed to them. They're just taking what's fed to them. And fuck what Spotify's talking about. Look at the Billboard charts and what Spotify is talking about. We ain't on the Billboard charts. We used to run that shit for like 8 years, to 8 to 10 years. Like, we was on them shits. So we are not there at all. And when I say we, I'm talking about hip hop culture. We're not there.
Do we also have that? Go ahead.
And that is a negative for mainstream pockets and all that type of shit, but it seems like it's a positive for art. And I feel like the independence is going to bring art, because it's like, when you ain't thinking about making $1 million, you're going to build something different and your own shit. If you're not thinking about the system ahead of you, like, oh, I got to make this song that works within 2 minutes and 30 seconds so it could play on radio and do streaming. Now you're making art.
Cut through all that shit. Do I have to make a song that fits for white people or not?
That's it. That part, yeah.
When you're making hip hop primary, I mean, we see the difference. The 80s, the audience we knew was overwhelmingly black. We got one sort of hip hop. When Interscope, not to blame it on them specifically, but when Interscope got huge and you saw a huge influx of new hip hop fans, most of them white, the sort of music changed. And the 90s is a golden era, but you started to see more pop music. And in the 2000s, we get more white fans, and things start to go a little left, leading toward where we are now.
The whites destroyed the culture.
Wait. Can we dive even deeper than that and talk about, well, the majority of the places that you're going to get your streams from, if you're playing the streaming game, is going to be through playlists. We got to talk about those white playlist curators who are telling rappers or telling singers, hey, maybe if this song was this amount of time, maybe if you didn't have a bridge, perhaps if you went straight to the point and didn't do an intro, they're changing the sound of music and then now reporting stats about the decline. Because in order to get on your playlist, I have to abide by these sonic rules that you have.
You're right.
So now you're like, wait a minute, it didn't work. It must be the artist. How about we talk about the people in control of curating the experience for the listener?
In general, to me, and I want y'all to speak on this, the R&B singer seems to be selling a song, right? So we're going to have a chorus and a hook, and like, I'm trying to get you guys dancing and into this movement of this 2:30 movement of that I'm doing, 3-minute movement. The rap song seems to be, let me show them how badass I am at rapping. And it prioritizes verses over hooks and choruses. Quite often, a rap song will not really have a chorus to speak of. And he's just saying, I'm going to rap my ass off, and they're going to rock with that. And not to say there's no hooks and no choruses, but the chorus and the hook is de-emphasized in general versus what R&B does. And then that means you have to be a real hip-hop head to get into it. What do you think about that?
I think rap is about lyricism and storytelling. That's the part of it, because lyricism being the complexity of how you can rhyme, the fact that you can rhyme, like what you said, like I can rap, because when the first time someone started rapping on stage, it was like, what the fuck? This is amazing. He just said to the hip hop, a hippie tippy. It's like, I've never heard that before. But and then storytelling right away in the beginning, Grandmaster Flash and all them, you're hearing the storytelling from the beginning, and you don't get that as much in songs as consistently as you do with rap music.
Just one thing, just as the only person here who remembers hearing Rapper's Delight in real time. As a 10-year-old, my response was, oh, they rapped for the whole song. So I already knew people could like vocalists could rap for short periods, would do like a 4 or something. But like so it wasn't like this has never happened before. It was like, oh, they kept it going like the whole song. Like that was what was different to me, even as like a young person who barely understood music.
Yeah, but the first time you heard rap on a song and it was a rap, that probably was very impressive versus singing.
Of course, it stands out of the syncopation. They're not singing. Oh my God, this is different. But like, Curtis, I think a lot about like Beyonce starts a lot of songs with the chorus. And I think it's a brilliant strategy to start with the chorus. And then at the 45th second of the song, we're hearing the chorus for a second time. I am already in and invested so many rap songs. I don't hear it would be almost impossible to start a rap song with a chorus. You would almost never do that. You always start with, let me show you how I can rap.
Well, I think a lot of rap songs, first of all, I got to just say the image of a young Toure losing his mind over they're rapping the whole song. I can't escape that right now. I had to go ahead and mention that. Well, I think that's what happened to a lot of songs that I think by default people categorize underneath hip hop, even though we as hip hop heads said that's not hip hop. That sounds more like a take, like you said, on hairband rock or a take on auto-tune rock, whatever you want to call it. It didn't sound quite attached to hip hop, and I think a lot of folks behind the scenes were changing that music. Maybe even producers who were saying this is how we compete with other genres. We have to have the auto-tune hook in the first few. We have to do this. I think another issue that we definitely got to bring up, and I saw this article on Instagram. It's a company named Media Research who did a study on 10,000 consumers. And one of the things that they discovered is that they said 16 to 24-year-olds are less likely than 24 to 34 to take almost every step after discovering a new song. So if they discover it on TikTok, for instance, only 19% of young listeners who discovered a new artist went on to hear more of their catalog. So when I think about the places that hip hop, or not even hip hop, that style of rap is winning, it first of all, it's not going to always be in the streaming platforms. It's going to be on these social media platforms. People hear it, and that's enough of an enjoyment of an experience for them. So I think they have to they have to zoom out in whatever study that you presented with Spotify and look at the listening habits of their different demographics and realize even the way people are discovering music is more predominantly in YouTube than through streaming itself. There's a lot of different things that are changing with just the streaming the listening habits of listeners. So other factors to definitely pay attention to. You went out.
That's a big statement, and I 100% agree with that. It's like shit is changing so much. This shit was radio. Then it was music videos that were driving things. Then we got into downloads, illegal downloads. That was everything. That's how you found new music on LimeWire and Napster. Then they solved that with the blog era, right? Not solved it, but then the blog era became like the biggest drop, the narrative communicator. Say it again?
Steve Jobs solved that by bringing in the iPod, bringing Apple into the game.
Yeah,
saying,
to a degree, but people were still, while Apple was at its highest for the mainstream, it still made the music industry decline with their value. Like right now, the music industry is only $31 billion a year, like the entire industry, which is kind of crazy low when you think about like
what has it been in the past?
Yeah, not where. No, I'm talking about as an industry. It's not where. It's actually higher than it's been in the past. That's like where the height has been. I'm saying the music industry in general doesn't make that much money according to other industries like film and all that type of stuff. So when you're trying to fight for attention or whatever from an industry that doesn't really earn anything, but 100% everything needs music, and music is in all other industries and is everywhere. It's just that it shows you the commodification of it is so low, and because people just don't think that they should be buying music. They should buy music.
Can I throw another stat on top of that? What you just said? What you say the total was for the industry?
Like 30 billion, I think.
30 billion. I think in 2017 they had a stat. I want to say it might have been Stanford that did a study. Only 12% of that is going home to the people who actually hands-on make music.
12%.
12% of the entire house that was built. Right? You're talking about the tech companies that are involved. You're talking about the execs. You're talking about everybody who has a hand. Only 12% of that is going home. And that 12 is being split between the singers, the songwriters, the engineers, the producers. And it's divvied up very uniquely even there. But 12% of that is only going home to the people who actually have a hand in the music.
So just as a comparison, I just looked this up. NBA players get 50% of the league's basketball-related income. But rappers and singers are getting 12% of the money that they help generate.
They're splitting 12%.
Yeah.
So the rapper divvy might even be, significantly, the rapper singer divvy may be more significantly smaller than that. But just the idea of you built this house up, but all you got the rent to pay for is for a bathroom. You get this bathroom. Go ahead and stay in this bathroom.
Go ahead and get this little bathroom. So what we're saying is that a lot of rappers are broke, which gets into another story that I want to get into in our current events, but we will get into
a lot of rap. Somebody said to me a long time that a recording artist is either richer than you would imagine or poorer than you would expect. There's no real middle.
There's no middle, but there was a middle class for the last 15 years. And that's the thing that happened. It felt like there was a middle class in this industry, and then that just got obliterated. $1 million in the bank.